Hey folks, it's me again, and today we are doing another episode of Who Lives in a House Like This. So last time with Owen Shaw, it tied in with my Super Sim challenge in that I basically created a friend for Akira. So this time, this one also ties in with the Super Sim challenge. This house belongs to Granny Tuttle. Now, I've called her Granny Tuttle because she won't like that, and if you hadn't guessed already, this is Sally's mum. She has moved into Brindleton Bay, and her traits are snob, materialistic, and neat. She also wants to be a mansion baron. Now, the house that she lives in now is far from being a mansion. It is just your typical family home in Brindleton Bay, but Sally's mum, Granny Tuttle, Julia, needed to live somewhere before she moved on and, set up a business empire in Brindleton Bay so that she could move into the mansion that she feels she deserves. Now, you might think that I'm not talking very fondly of Julia Tuttle, and you would be correct, because she is not being the best mother. She's only come back because she's heard that Sally, along the grapevine, that Sally has gotten married, and she's mad that she wasn't invited to the wedding, even though she wouldn't ever have been invited. And she's also heard about the baby. So now, if you've watched the latest episode, the Super Sim Challenge wedding, then you will be aware of all the twists and turns that happened in that episode, and what has led to me making the decision of moving Julia into the neighbourhood. So basically, she's been away for a long time. She's never really cared that much about Sally, to be quite honest with you. Any chance she got, she left her with the nanny. Sally actually became really fond of a nanny, and they were very close until her death when Sally was an adult, which was very sad for her. But so now she's popped back up just because she feels she has to. She never does anything unless it benefits her, so there'll be some sort of ulterior motive for her popping back up in the world, but we're not quite sure what that is just yet. So the house that I've built for her here is just your typical family home. There's nothing too spectacular about it. It's got a few modern touches, but it's quite in with the Brindleton Bay sort of feel. It's got a very classic kitchen, dining room, living room. All the interior decorating is very wood paneling with a lot of wallpaper, and obviously it's got a nice fireplace. There's not much kind of technology in this house. It's just very basic because she's not somebody that is interested in technology. So Mrs. Tuttle, or Julia Tuttle, is a businesswoman, a very shrewd businesswoman. She has made her money through extorting the prices of various things. She owns a lot of different retail shops that sell very expensive items that aren't really worth it. So we're going to eventually build her a retail store in Magnolia Promenade, because that's what she wants to do. Basically, she's come back to Brindleton Bay, she's heard about Magnolia Promenade, and feels that her Tuttle empire needs to take over that little bit of land as well. She doesn't really care about the environment, she doesn't really care about affecting other people's businesses or anything like that. She's very selfish, very self-absorbed. So I'm interested to see what is going to happen between her and Sally, because I can imagine that they're both going to butt heads, because Sally hasn't really spoken to her since she was a teenager. Sally just kind of stuck around at home when she wasn't at boarding school. She stuck around at home until she was able to go to university, and then she never returned, and she didn't see her since then. And Julia never bothered to check in with her daughter, and as far as we're aware, she's been travelling the world, various different places, to set up her empire, and along the way marrying several different people until the money runs dry, and then as soon as the money runs dry she moves on to the next victim. So it's just the kind of the typical thing. So I'm interested to know why she's come back into town and why she suddenly is taking an interest in Sally's life. There's got to be a reason for it. I can't somehow believe that it is because of the grandchild, because I can't imagine her ever wanting to be a nan or a grandma, so it can't be that. There's got to be another reason, and my guess is it's got to be something to do with finances. So that will probably come to light in the next couple of episodes, and we'll figure out exactly what is going on and why she's returned to the neighbourhood. Obviously she's in Brindleton Bay, and Sally and Akira have moved to Solani recently. This being obviously that they wanted to be on the beach. They're quite set in their careers and stuff, and they've got, a little bit of money behind them, so they wanted to go somewhere where they could raise the children and just kind of have a bit of a nice life. Also there's a couple of aspirations that Sally needs to complete in Solani, so we're going to do those, and then we'll probably move on again. Sally, a lot like her mum, is very restless. She doesn't like to stay in one place all the time. She likes to move on, do what she can, and then move on. But the difference between her and her mum is that she's very family orientated. She likes to she's very interested in having a big family and making sure that everybody feels good and loved and wanted. So she's going to do that. So obviously we're all very interested to see why Julia's come back, but in the meantime obviously she's going to be forging her own relationships with people in the neighbourhood. Obviously a lot of them are old friends of Sally and Akira when they used to live here. She doesn't yet know that Sally doesn't live in Brindleton Bay anymore, but she will find out very soon that she's moved on, obviously, and that she's not going to be around. You might notice that some of the furniture is from Selva Dorada, so we can assume that she might have spent some time in Selva Dorada, perhaps in one of the villas overlooking the mountains, and she's brought back quite a lot of the furniture to use in the house. There's obviously a few little modern touches here and there, like the bathrooms are quite modern, but they've been renovated when she moved in. There's a lot of like plants, but she's not a gardener. She's not really interested in upkeeping a garden, so you'll notice later on when we do the landscaping that there's not too much for anyone to take notice of, really. It's very easily maintained. It's just a patch of well manicured lawn and some trees and a pond and that kind of stuff. So the front porch, I really like this front porch actually. It wraps around to the side and it's got some little seating areas on it, with some plants hanging in little hanging baskets and some lights and stuff like that. I actually really like this house actually. I think that when she's done with it that we can move another family in, because I think that they will appreciate this house a lot more than perhaps she does, 'cause for everything that she does is always a means to an end, so she doesn't really get attached to properties, but I think a nice family would move into this and do the house justice, maybe like with kids, and because the garden is quite large, so you could easily get a play set in there. You could even remove the pond that I've put in and perhaps replace that with a pool instead. Like I say, there's not too many plants, so it wouldn't be difficult to remodel. And it's just got like a little patch of brickwork in front of the door where you can have a little barbecue area with a little seating, stuff like that. Obviously there is the tools for you to be able to do a garden, like a massive flower garden if you wanted to, so you could move a gardener in. That's not a problem. But like I say, Julia's not one for doing that. So this is the pond. It's a very small pond, but I feel like it fits in with the landscape of Brindleton Bay. I feel like it's quite a pondy area, like there'll be a lot of life. I mean, there's a lot of cats wandering around, so if you've got any fish, they'll be gone, but even so, it still looks good. It looks good while the fish are alive. Obviously, it's still quite murky because ponds just usually are. I wanted to use the Selva Dorada water because I love that water where it's like really crystal clear and it just looks so pretty, but it doesn't really fit for a pond. So I just went for the generic murky water. And I think after this, I can't remember what part of it because I recorded this a few days ago. Yeah, so obviously this is just a little outdoor seating area that I can imagine that she would come out and probably do some of her work on a laptop or whatever, deciding where she's going to go next and whose lives she's going to ruin there. So as for Julia, her style is very classic. She's like a very cardigan and skirt wearing person. I've given her, she is an adult, but I've made her hair grey just because I wanted her to be around a lot longer. I didn't want to be a complete elder, but she is obviously heading towards that age. So she's not brought any family with her. She's not brought any husbands or anything like that with her because, you know, wherever she goes, she'll get a new one. So while she's here in town, no doubt she'll end up with some sort of young new husband. So we'll have to see who she preys on. This is the bathroom I was talking about with the modern kind of walk-in shower and the sink, obviously, from Tiny Living with the toilet. I love those toilet sets. I absolutely adore that sink and that toilet. So it's kind of in every build that I do at the moment, you'll notice. This is the spare room. So there is a Murphy bed in there, but I've also put a rack of clothing. So she's kind of using it as a spare room for her clothes. Again, the bedrooms, they're just all very neutral. There's nothing too fancy going on because everything looks a bit bare and it looks kind of like she's not staying, which is probably very likely that she wouldn't stay here. So she's not one for putting a lot of artwork on the walls or anything like that. It's very much kind of standalone furniture that just sits there until it needs to be moved again. There's nothing too personal basically about these houses, about this house. It's not got the personalised touches of a usual house, but like I say, it's just waiting for a family to move in and give it the life that it deserves. This has got, I decided to put an ensuite on the master bedroom because I felt like one bathroom wasn't going to be enough for the size of the house, so it's got two full bathrooms, and then downstairs you've just got like a little toilet sink utility room. So there's two double bedrooms plus a box room. So the middle one is the box room, which we're using as a bit of an office, but I think you could quite easily fit a child's bed in there or a toddler bed, so it wouldn't be too difficult for a family to move in with a couple of kids basically. The front garden is enclosed with a car port next to it. I don't know what you call it. I guess it's a driveway. It's got a driveway next to it for a car. Only one car though, so it's not massive amounts of space for parking. And again, the front garden, very minimal, not very many plants in there. It's just very kind of easy to maintain basically is the point of this house. Very easy to maintain, and obviously it's in keeping with Brindleton Bay and the types of flowers that you have found there. So anyway, we're coming up to the screenshots now, so I will leave the commentary here, and I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you're looking forward to seeing Julia in our Super Sim Let's Play and the drama that she will bring with her. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Hey folks, thank you for watching the video today. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, and in between videos you can find me on Twitter at EmmGeeYT. Thank you for watching today, and I will see you on the next one.